let's talk about bookstores for a little bit,
Mhm.
for a second. Um, I'm on this campaign of why are all these authors not in the bookstores? How do you feel as an author wanting to your books to
Mhm.
be on shelves? Does that bother you? Are you over it?
Mhm.
Because now we have social media, you have your own
Mhm.
store. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it, it's a little bothersome because despite having social media, there are still people who don't know it. Like I saw the not the other day, but it wasn't that long ago, maybe like a month ago, a girl posted like there's no more or there's no urban fiction anymore. And it was like, what? Because it's so much as these books getting released every day. But then I had to remember, like, this is probably somebody who goes to Target and Barnes and Noble and stores to look for books, and they're only seeing the same two, three, four people. So to them, it looks like there's nothing out there. So yeah, it's bothersome in that aspect because when you do go to these bookstores, they probably don't have the section or it's very small. And then you have people who think that the genre has died out and what have you. So yeah, it's very bothersome because I want more of our books to be available everywhere so people will know like this genre is very much alive. It's people writing books, hundreds of books every day. So
I I was in the airport
mhm.
and I was skimming over magazines, and this lady, she was like, "Oh, have you read this?" I was like, "No, that's not really the genre I like to
Yeah.
read." And she was just like, "Oh, well, why not?" I was like, "Because I don't see myself."
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, she was really going in. I said,
Yeah.
"I really don't see myself in that type of book."
Right.
But it's open for every, ma'am. What I like is not on this shelf. I
Right,
like to shoot 'em
exactly.
up bang bangs. I like a good old
Mhm.
kidnapping trope.
Yeah.
I like a good old I'm applying this pressure. You gonna be my baby mama today.
Right,
I
exactly,
like it.
exactly.
I love that. I like a good drive by.
Hmm. Thank you. Yes, sign me up.
I like that. I
Yeah.
mean, don't I don't take it. Don't I don't take it from you. You enjoy the book. It's just not for my thing. And I
Right.
think she was so offended because I was like, just irritated. I was like, it's not even traditionally published
Mhm.
authors, black authors were on the shelf. I was like, I mean, do they think we don't read, or do they feel like they're isolated? What is going on with y'all?
Right.
But I was like, don't worry about it. I got my trusty Kindle
Right.
on
Yeah.
here. My
Exactly.
iPad is in this bag,
Right.
and my phone is right here.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about the business side of it.
Hmm.
What's the most challenging part of in this industry for you?
Mm, it's just that when you're independent, you pretty much do everything yourself. And it's kind of a lot of hats to wear because obviously you want to be focused on writing the book, but you also have to be focused on getting the covers, dealing with cover designers because you're fortunate if you have a cover designer that is responsive and they know what you want and they're getting the covers to you on time because I remember when I first was publishing under a publisher, I mean, the cover designer guy was so um trifling, lack of a better word. I mean, he would have people, he wouldn't get people their cover until like the day the book was coming out. It's like I couldn't promote this whole time because I didn't have a cover. So it's like you have to worry about, well, I didn't have to worry about it then because I had a publisher, but being independent, you have to make sure you stay on top of the cover designer. Um, Making sure you get your edits on time or that you're conversing with your editor to make sure that they can get it back to you in a timely manner and just wearing a lot of hats. That's the most difficult part because you want to make sure that everything is cohesive and flows smoothly. So
So now that we have this new administration coming in,
mhm.
do you feel like, I'm gonna have to say it, black authors are in trouble
What new
as far
administration?
as them banning books? As you know, they forever trying to ban a book.
Yeah. I would hope not. No, I didn't think about that. No.
Because I know that somebody was showing something on, it might have been Peyton Banks or somebody. I think it was Peyton Banks. She was saying, "Did you guys see this when you upload to Amazon? They're claiming ownership of your book." And I was like, "But they didn't create it."
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people are pulling their books off Amazon. How do you? And I'm sorry about sorry, design.
Hmm.
How do you feel about them people trying to take the majority of your book that they're just a distributor?
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm definitely gonna have to look into that because I don't even know if that's legal because with copyright and publishing rights and things of that nature, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at her video and I was in the airport, so I might have missed her, but I think I heard it right.
Mhm.
But it was something like, "Did you see this? You guys need to pay attention to this before you put your books over." Because I know it's a few authors that I know they're pulling their catalog off of Amazon.
Right. Yeah, I don't blame them because Amazon is they take too much of the money and the just the way that they run that department. Yeah, is yeah.
Is it better? Do you make? I'm not trying to capture a coin. I promise I'm not. But for authors, is it better for them to carry their own books?
Well, I would say it depends on each author, but for the majority of us, no. Just because Amazon controls 90% of the ebook market. So if you're not on Amazon, you're losing a large amount of profit, especially in this climate where everybody is reading for free in a sense, even though you pay monthly. Everybody is kind of on this Kindle Unlimited wave, and which is a great thing. You know, it got a lot of authors exposure that they may not have gotten if a person
Right.
actually pays for the book because you're more willing to read something if it's free versus if you got to pay for it. So yeah, right now, not unless someone takes Amazon out in that department, is you really are losing a lot if you take your book off Amazon just because that's primarily where everyone reads. It just is. So
Okay. Uh, define
uh-oh.
what define the great American novel
The Great
in
American
your
Novel.
in your and how you view it, not how society views it. Define what you feel the great American novel is.
Um, I don't even know if I know the answer to that. Does that just mean like
I
the
mean, what
type
would you
of
think
book?
the great? I mean, what would be the great American novel for you? Because obviously, as African Americans or Black folk or however you want to say it,
Mhm.
we have a different circumstance in how we are reared, how we're raised, what
Right.
society deems us as. How do you define that? Do you? Because I'm just not. I look at Oprah's list. I don't see any book on there except for one that I would deem as a great American novel.
Hmm. Great American Novel. There's so many. Can it be a series like that's
It can be
together?
whatever you want.
Okay. I would say like the Thug series by Wahida Clark. That one was just a. It was just really good, and it was like really what made me be like, okay, like I like urban fiction. Like this is where I want to read, and I think that Wahida Clark, the author, I think that she kind of started that trend. You know, she kind of made it. I think that's where a lot of us started, where a lot of us kind of got into urban fiction. If you were reading like urban fiction years ago,
Yes.
she just kind of paved that way. So yeah.
And did.
Hmm.
And did. Do you feel like she hit the emotions, she gave every emotion that she could in that series. Because I think I've read it. I'm almost sure that I did,
Yeah.
but again, that was
We all
9,000 years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah, I think she did a great job with that. She did hit you with the emotions. I remember myself being upset with some people, sad for some people, and I think that was my first experience of being like attracted to a book character. Like, what is this? Like, I can't wait to get home and finish reading about my man. So
Right.
yeah, so she hit on everything with that series. Yeah, it's definitely an amazing series, and it kind of, like I said, it paved the way for like urban fiction and things like that.
Do you feel like you're there or close to it?
No, no,
I'm just going to differ with you.
no. I hope to be one day, though. I do see myself getting to that point. Yeah, I definitely hope to be at that point, because there's still people, obviously, that have never heard of my books or never read a book by me. So I want to get to that point where it's like, you ain't read this by Shvonne Latrice, So
Do you know who you are? No, and I'm not being facetious at all. Do you know the weight you carry?
I I guess not. I don't know. I feel like people are still like, oh, who is that? Like, I've seen people comment like, oh, I have to try her out, or
If you don't know any, if they're not into street lit, if they're not into urban fiction, they don't know.
yeah,
They have to have come across you at some point.
yeah. Mhm.
I just it's baffling. It's baffling because to me, you're like the epitome of a great American author.
Really? Wow. Thank you.
I'm not trying to be like a kiss ass.
Yeah.
I'm not for real. And anybody who knows me
Mhm.
in my book club, they know how I feel about your writing. And
Yeah.
I got a couple of them, but you hit it for me every time. I don't think I've
Mhm.
read a bad book where I didn't feel something.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And see, Savannah is that girl. She right. Yep. We stand for Siobhan. Come on,
Thank
Tylee.
you.
Um, can you define success, and what does it look like for you? What does success look like for you? And have you reached it? That's a better question.
Success for me is longevity. Because you're not going to be the best or the most talked about or the most read at all times, but I feel like longevity is when you kind of know like you're successful. Like Beyonce, Beyonce may not always have like the number one song or album out, but she's Beyonce. Like, she's already, it's the longevity. She can still just come out with, have a concert whenever, and people are gonna go because she's already solidified herself and she has that longevity. Um, so that's what success would be for me, is to have longevity. Um, to always be like, oh yeah, Siobhan, she did this. Like, she always writes good books, or things of
Right.
that nature. I don't always have to be the biggest and best one at that time, but just knowing that I'm around and putting out quality material, and that I'm known for that. So
Do you feel like you reached success? Your success?
I feel like midway, because again, I still feel like there are people that read urban fiction, or and they don't know who I am, or they don't read my books, or maybe they don't have heard of my books, they just don't want to read it. I don't know. But I, just from what I see people that have never read me, or they'll mention that they haven't, or they plan to get to me, or they've never seen my name before. So, like every time I release a book, I have someone like, this is the first book I've read by you. I get that with every book that I drop. Um, so yeah, once I get to the point where it's like everybody's like, oh yeah, Siobhan, yeah, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm at the top of the success meter.
Can you describe yourself in one word?
I guess I would say I'm a perfectionist because I take my books very seriously, sometimes too seriously. I always tell myself, like, Shvonne, calm down.
I'm sorry
Oh,
for the whining in the back. My dog is
it's okay.
wants something.
But yeah, I take my books very seriously. I don't put out anything that I did not put 100% into. I just can't do it. Um, yeah, so I would say I'm a perfectionist because I really take it a little bit too seriously sometimes.
But that's what makes your books good.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that, but it's a little stressful, but I can't do it any other way. So,
Would you ever go back to being published traditionally?
mm, I mean, it depends on if the deal sounded good. Because I really don't like being told what to write, or how to write, or when to write. So, long as that's not happening, and my books can be in stores everywhere, then yeah, I would be interested in being traditionally published because it seems like that's the only way to get your books in stores. So
This one wants to make an appearance. I apologize. We do this every week,
yeah.
and I thought he was downstairs, but apparently not.
He's like, it's my time.
Exactly. Um, if you could collab with anybody that you haven't collabed with or
Yeah.
want to collaborate, who would be your ultimate collaborator, author that you would like to collaborate?
Hmm. That's a good question. I never thought about that. I've only collabed once my entire career. Um, I don't know. Probably like Brienne, Janae, because I think that would be fun.
Listen, it's so many people I would love for you to collab with.
She's like, don't ask me. I got a list.
I love Ivory Penn,
Hmm. Oh yeah, I met
Harley
her.
J. Um, I would love to see you and Masterpiece do something.
Oh yeah, I love her too. Yeah.
Masterpiece had me looking at her sideways,
Uh oh.
and she know why. Cause that Beam Dukes, baby, she's something else. I see a few collaborations for me. I just don't know. Is that something that you would ever consider?
um, if it's ever like it makes sense, like it did that one time that I did that collab years and years and years ago, it just made sense at that time. So yeah, if it ever came up and it made sense and it was something like cool, then yeah.
Do you still read a
Hmm.
lot?
Well, I wouldn't say a lot just because I don't have as much time. And because I can't read while I write. Well, I can, but I don't want to. Um, but yeah, you as an author, you have to read. It's part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do what you don't consume. That's just how we are as humans. You have to read. Like you can't be an author that doesn't read because that's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
What book? What made you say okay? I mean, I understand what made you no get it together, Nicole. What book you said okay? I could do this. What book was it that said, "All right, this is it for me. I could do it."
Mm, I would say me and my dope boy. That's an old series. I wasn't as successful yet when I put it out, but that's kind of when I started to see people like, okay, comment on my writing and the story structure and how good it was and things like that. So I was like, okay, I'm actually pretty good at this. I think I can, make a career out of this. So that was the first series that I felt like that.
Um, when you first saw your name on the
Mhm.
title of your first book,
Mhm.
how was that?
Um, it didn't feel real at the time. Like when I got the cover, I was like, okay, like because the publisher I had at the time, like he was talking a lot of stuff, and I was like, you probably tell everybody this. So I was just like, but when I actually started having people like hit me up that they read it and stuff like that, that's when it was like, oh wait, wow, people actually are like reading something I wrote. So
I just feel like that would be so surreal for me if to ever see my name on the cover of a book. I
yeah,
probably would listen. Listen, I would probably put this church hat on, go on down to the local church,
yeah,
and be shouting because I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know. I probably will be besides myself, but you know. Is it hard to create titles for your books?
Mm, it can be, yes, sometimes if I just feel like I can't find a title that matches because one, you don't want to have a title that's been used. And a lot of titles have been used. So yeah, it can be difficult if I don't like applying pressure. I was like, dang, that one took me a while. I'm like, what could I call this? Because I needed something that was perfect, perfectly described it. I didn't want it to just be like a typical like falling for you or whatever because I needed it to match the story. So that one took me a minute, but then when it came to me, it was just like quick. So I was like, oh, that was perfect.
Do you get nervous with new releases?
Yeah, every time. Yeah. Cause
Really?
yeah, every time. Yep. Every time, especially when I'm about to put it out in a couple days, I always start having like anxiety, like, oh my God. We about to put out
I'm with
another
you.
one. Here we go.
um, I just want to make sure I ask it all the questions because people were sending me notes talking about ask this, ask that,
Don't miss
don't
nothing.
forget this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Um, Before I get to my questions,
Hmm.
because I have some questions too. Urban romance. Okay, so there's a thing with me, and I'm not gonna even include nobody but me. Um, really. Um, how do you define urban romance?
Um. Well, urban romance,
I mean,
not.
urban fiction. Let's make it urban fiction. How do you define urban fiction? Because some people says that contemporary romance does not in urban fiction. I feel like it's all things. I think anything that's black, it is urban fiction.
Mhm. Yeah. So I think urban fiction is like the umbrella term. And then I think you have like urban romance, like that. Urban fiction is more like just like I said, the umbrella term is about black people, how black people deal with things. I think urban romance is the same thing, but it's a little bit heavier on the romance. Like I would say like Quan is more like urban fiction. Like there's not there's relationships in it, but it's not like if you were to read like one of my books where that's the primary focus is getting this couple together.
So Animal is urban fiction.
Well, I haven't read that, but I read Hood Rat and I read
That's the
another.
same series.
Yeah, oh, okay.
They interconnect.
Yeah, so yeah, I think urban fiction, like I said, is the umbrella term. Like urban romance is still urban fiction. It's just a different type. So if you kind of want to go, if you want more, I want more focus on the shoot 'em up, drug dealing. You kind of want to stick to just kind of basic urban fiction because urban romance is gonna have that, but that's gonna be the background. The foreground is the relationship and the romance aspect. So, but they're not interchangeable, but they go together. If that
Because
makes
I define it as urban fiction. Then you have your contemporary, which is soft urban fiction, urban romance. Then you have urban romance, because our romance is different from everybody else's romance.
Right.
We do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dark romance is urban dark. Then you have urban thrillers. Then you have
Right.
paranormal. I feel like it all falls under the
Yep. The urban
umbrella.
fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm not alone. Okay. Thank you. Um, can you fill in the blank?
Oh,
Blank is life.
blank is life. Writing.
Okay. Okay. That's the first writing I got in is life. And then my pen is
My pen is
fill in the blank or complete the sentence.
always hot.
I'm gonna say
Never
methodical.
cooling off.
I'm gonna say it is diabolical.
That too toxic.
Listen, I'm not even putting toxic. I'm gonna say diabolical. I feel like every time you put something out, I'll be like, I need a drink. And
Always.
I love it. But I'll be here for it. I'll be here for the
Yeah.
foolishness and the mayhem.
Yeah.
Where do you see Shvonne Latrice in 5 years?
5 years, I hope to have some of my books become at least either a movie or preferably a TV show. I think my books would do better as TV shows versus movies, but sometimes you got to start somewhere. So
I'm waiting on it.
yeah, me
I'm
too.
waiting on because it reads as a movie.
Yeah,
I really could see applying pressure as a movie.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could see. Actually, I could see the Crenshaw Kings as a mini series.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And tell me if I'm wrong. I could see Boss Chicks as a series.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, like
Definitely.
seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because it was a lot there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I could see She Got It Bad for a Heartless Gangster as a series, maybe a movie, but maybe a
Yeah.
series.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Who else? Who else? I mean, I could see them all on film, on TV
Mm-hmm.
at some point, and I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's gonna happen.
so are you shopping?
Not yet. I do want like the Crenshaw Kings too, but I want to finish it first. I have it completed because it would have to either be sold as is and then developed into a script, or I would have to have somebody develop the script and then sell it.
I have a question. So
Mm-hmm.
I had an interview with Jacques J. You're familiar with her?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so she was telling me about um she had written um a I guess an outline, a treatment plan for the Delgados, and the publishers didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would a publisher not want something like that for it to come out to be the success that it is?
Right. Yeah. Their loss. It seems like these traditional publishers don't want urban fiction. Um, not unless you're already established, like I said, like Quan, or if you're like Ashley Antoinette or somebody like that, then of course they're going to take it because you have a pretty big following and they know it's going to sell. Um, and for some reason, they think that urban fiction doesn't sell anymore, but clearly they were wrong because obviously that series performed very well. So, but again, at least she gets to keep it all. So, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like they don't believe that it sells. It doesn't make money, so they don't want it.
But Denzel said the same thing. He said, I was listening to an interview. He was like, they said that we couldn't sell in Hollywood, and we sold in Hollywood. They said that we couldn't sell overseas. I'm
Right.
overseas.
Right.
Why? Is it because they're afraid that I don't know. Tyler Perry said they wouldn't take him, and he did well. He's $1 billion.
Right, absolutely. I you know what makes it worse is that there was a time where urban fiction was like heavily in stores like Borders and stuff like that. So they know that it had a time where it did sell. Um, but yeah, I guess for some reason they're just thinking like, hey, people aren't going to buy this, so we don't want to buy into that genre. Um, and also a lot of those authors that were popular then, they don't really write anymore, and so that's caused people to think that the genre is not really popular anymore. Because really, when you go to these stores, all you see is like Ashley Antoinette, Ashley and her husband, um, and then like old books from like Sister Soldier. And so to them, they're like, there's nobody out there writing this, nobody buying it. So,
But like, where it? I mean, because Wahida Clark was big time. She's
mm-hmm,
still putting out. If she's not writing, she's public. She's
mm-hmm,
publishing books.
yeah,
Treasure Hernandez was one of my favorites.
mm-hmm,
Quan, even though he's still writing, you
yeah,
don't see him in the stores anymore. I
right,
don't.
yeah, exactly,
That
exactly.
baffles me.
Yeah,
You
me
know.
too, me too.
But what baffles me the most is going into a black bookstore
Mm-hmm.
and they don't carry the independent um authors. Like I felt like Product of the Street should have been in the stores
Mm-hmm.
because it was to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I listen. It was that good, you know.
Uh-huh.
I feel like your books should be like on the table in the front by the
Yeah,
door, like as soon as you come in.
yeah,
They know how I feel about it.
yeah.
It's just certain authors. I feel like why y'all not in? They not in the stores. Do you guys try to get them in the stores, or you just like I'm just gonna let God have it?
Yeah, so certain stores will not take independent people. Not unless the book is like viral, gone done crazy numbers, then they might stock it. But a lot of times like people like Target and stuff, they don't want to work with people who aren't traditionally published. So with them, you don't really have the option. You either published and you can get in our store or you won't be in the store. Um, some Barnes and Noble will do consignment, so you can bring them a shipment of books and they'll stock it. Um, so yeah, it's just very they just make it very difficult to do, and that's why a lot of authors have to sign to a traditional publisher to even get in the store, because a lot of these companies are like, don't send us nothing, don't email, don't contact us unless it's from a traditional publisher that we know.
I
So
think that is crazy, but okay.
it is.
Um, my favorite question: if you could invite 5 writers or authors to dinner, dead or alive, who would they be?
Ooh, okay. Definitely Wahida Clark, um, Sadika Johnson. Um, who else would I invite? Um, I'd invite Ashley Antoinette. I feel like she's keeping the genre alive traditionally. Because she's in the stores and stuff. Um, that's 3, right?
Mhm.
Then I would do mm, the ladies who wrote the Bentley Manor series. Is 2 of them though, but I'm counting them as one because they both wrote that series. And then
Mhm.
Tracy Brown, I would say.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say I'm gonna play this game too.
Okay.
I'm hold on. I'm gonna say I have some people right here. I'm gonna say for me,
Yeah.
it's gonna be you,
Ooh.
E. Bowser,
Okay.
Aubrey J because she's funny as hell. I think y'all funny together.
Oh.
Um, I'm gonna say Maya Angelou because I want to know how she feels about it. Maya Angelou, and I'm torn between Elin Harris and Eric Jerome Dickey.
Yeah, those are some good choices.
I just really want Maya Angelou to be like, darling, what are you guys writing? And I was like, girl, we in this thing. Come on, Miss Angelou. So I just really kind of want to know
Yeah,
what she would think about today's literature.
yeah.
So that's who I would invite.
A little lineup,
A little bit, little bit, little
especially
bit.
because I'm on there.
Oh, of course. You on a few of them. And I always switch between you and Jacquel. I don't know why. That would be a collab for me.
Yeah, yeah,
That would be my collab request.
yeah. That would be fun.
I think those are my questions. Y'all have any questions before I go? Before she's pop her shit real quick. Tell the people where she at. For older books, is it best to buy online, Amazon, or events?
um, not events, just because it's less likely that I would have them with me. So it's best to Amazon or my website.
Where can we purchase your catalog?
So I'm gonna be having a sale the end of this month, beginning of February. And I'll send like an email and text if you want my mailing list that the sale is live so you can shop.
Okay. I'm gonna have you pop your shit real quick. We're gonna be in 2025.
So March I'm gonna be in Mesquite.
I'll
Somebody's
be
hosting
there.
Dallas, yeah. So I'll be there in March. April I will be in Miami. Then the end of May I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia at the Black Romance Book Fest. And then Atlanta again, like mid July for K Renee's Book Expo,
Mm-hmm.
and then Chicago in September, and then I'm going to the Southern Hearts in October. So a lot of opportunities to see me.
Well, I will be seeing you in Dallas or Mesquite.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there for that. Will you? I know you have pre-orders. Will you have some of your older books with you?
I might have, depending how old we're
I'm
talking.
looking for box chicks. I need that on my
Oh,
shelf.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I have that. But if we're talking like first year in the game, probably not. Just it's best to get that from my website.
Now, what about like the like Crucial's book? I have a fine pressure, but
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm doing. I just bought out what you have for pre-order for Dallas. And
Mm-hmm.
the books that I have Crenshaw's Kings 1
Mm-hmm.
through 4,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 5. I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving those away as part of my birthday giveaway.
Oh,
I'm
that's
giving
sweet.
away 55 books.
Yeah.
So I have Applying Pressure and 4 or 5 Crenshaw King books. I'll be giving those away. But
Giveaway.
I need Boss Chicks from my
Yeah.
shelf.
Okay. Yeah. I will have that. So.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Anybody else have any questions before she tell us her social sites? So while they're doing that, if they have questions, where can they find you?
So all my social medias are Shvonne Latrice. That's Instagram, of course, Threads because they're merged. Facebook, Twitter or X. Wherever you can find me is Shvonne Latrice. My reading group is just Shvonne Latrice reading group, and that's pretty much where you can find me. Easiest way to like reach out would be like Threads. I'm the most responsive on that. My reading group, Facebook Messenger. Don't even try. You like I always say, you better off sending a message through Pigeon. I'll get it quicker. then Facebook Messenger. So yeah, but everything is Shvonne Latrice. So
And someone says, "What is the next Crenshaw King book coming out?" Didn't one just come out? It just came out. What just came
right,
out? Y'all need to read a cease book. You
giving
read
it
that
out for what,
already? My
7 days?
God. No,
Uh,
no, no. Oatmeal, peppermints. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come at you like that. I'm so sorry.
yeah, I'm gonna try to get it out in end of March. So
Okay, okay. In time for are you gonna have it in time for the 4Bs or Monica Walters thing stuff? Okay. Okay. Well, I tried. I
I had to ask.
asked. I asked. Thank you so much. When is the audio for the Crenshaw Kings coming?
So the 28th of this month, Simone's will come out, and then for a C, I think that's going to be the end of March too.
Is that hard to do? Is finding the right narrator and getting the book to sound the
Um,
way it's supposed to?
it can be, but a lot of it depends on the company you work with. How they operate is kind of how the Audible would come out. So yeah.
Will you have Tony Wacko in Dallas? Because we have to buy a book from my
I
nephew.
might, but I'll have like very minimal stock.
All right, Dora, we got to tag team her first. Because we gotta get to we get listen.
Yeah,
We when I tell you these ladies got spreadsheets
yeah. That's
because
smart
we're going
though.
I'm going to Tulsa
Mhm.
with Storm and Shannon in
Mhm.
February.
Okay.
And then I'm going to the 4Bs. And
Mhm.
then I think I'm doing Orlando in September
Oh,
with
okay.
Storm and Shannon. And I might. And when I say it's a serious might, I might be in Virginia. I might.
Big night, huh? Big maybe.
It's a big might. Um, are so you do know that the Boozy Book Tour is coming to Vegas,
No, I didn't know.
February 2026.
Okay, yeah, I would love to come to that. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, so I don't know,
Close.
Shannon, if you in here. I know Storm is still doing her interview with Miss Lady P.
Okay.
But I'm gonna have Storm or Shannon reach out to you because
Okay. Yeah, I
we
would
need
love
to
to
see
go to
you
that.
there.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so we got your socials. What's your website?
It's just the and then ShavonLatrice.com.
Okay, and make sure y'all spell her name right. It's
Yeah. Yes.
SHVONNE, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. Come on. Uh, do you have any shout outs that you want to give?
Uh,
No. Okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. Um, I think that's it for me.
all right.
I thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for having
appreciate
me. This was
you.
fun.
I appreciate you. This is not going to be the last time, I'm sure. Don't please don't be put off because right now, when I tell you I am fangirling, I'm so excited. I was like, okay, I don't feel good, and they was like, yeah, she'll just I'm not rescheduling nothing. Y'all not gonna have me with this lady
Absolutely not.
thinking I'm unreliable. No, no, no. So before you go, what do you think about TikTok app going away?
Um, uh, I don't get why it's going away. Like, what's the whole point? It just seems like U.S. wants to have control over stuff, and when they can't have control, this is what happens. So yeah, I think for a lot of creators, I think it's not gonna be. They're gonna have to adapt to something new because I think a lot of people. I don't know. A lot of people were making livings and everything off of TikTok, and just to snatch it away. I don't know. It's kind of effed up, but that's America for you.
Exactly. I feel like for me, um, I when I came on this app, I wasn't thinking about being a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking about even being a book reviewer. I was just on here and stumbled upon Book Talk, Black
Right.
Book Talk, because that's
Mm-hmm.
that's very different from Book Talk.
Right.
And that's where I found you.
Yeah.
And because again, you don't get a lot of that on Instagram. unless you're looking for it. Now that I know what I'm looking for and how to navigate, um, I'll be on Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not excited, but I'll be on Instagram. But again, this I will be heavily on YouTube.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
feel like it's a lot of lost opportunity over there, especially for Black authors and Black podcasters who talked about Black literature. So you can catch me there. This interview will be live over there in probably a couple of days or so.
Okay.
So if you have people that you want to see, they'll be over there under the Booked and Busy channel, and I'll tag you in it. What else? Oh, so coming up on Sunday, we have Misha Mish. We will be doing that over on Instagram. I'm not excited about Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll be on Instagram Live over there. I think I figured out how to save it so that I could post it on YouTube. Next week, we have Shannon from the Boozy Book Tour on Monday. On Thursday, we have Aubrey J. Friday, we have Tatum James. And on Sunday, we have editor Chloe Kane. So y'all make sure y'all check me out on Instagram. And I'm trying to be better with that. And check me out on Instagram for that. Yes, Storm. I thought you'd still be in your interview. We'll be over there starting on Sunday. You can always catch the interview in its entirety on YouTube. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel because that way I can monetize and give you better content and more bookish content. Um, Anything else I'm missing? I don't think there is. Oh, I have a website. It will be next week that I can remember it's booked and busy. It'll be a link in my bio probably tomorrow. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. This won't be the last time. Don't hate me because I'll try not to go to authors inboxes and be like, girl, what the hell was this? I will do a video, and I don't do bad videos. I feel like that's just an injustice because we got it hard enough as it is. But if you see a picture of me sliding down this door, just know that you had a banker. Or you might get a hat. You know, this is probably your hat right here. So yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, and have a blessed day. Happy weekend.
You too.
And see you over on YouTube. I mean on
Instagram.
Instagram.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Happy reading, y'all.